My name's James Millington. I'm a reader in landscape ecology in the Department of Geography at King's College London. I'm also a member of the Leverhulme Centre for Wildfires, Environment and Society, which is a centre that studies how fire varies around the world, how people manage fire, how people use fire, and that's related to some of the things that we're trying to do in this workshop.
So maybe what triggered you with the organization to start sensitizing or creating awareness of the benefit of fire? Because many people think fire is on the negative side of it.
Yeah, so fire is increasingly being seen on TV as a negative thing, with some very large extreme wildfires. For example, in Los Angeles in January 2025 we saw many houses burned down, and these sorts of events are raising the idea that fire is a very negative thing, and they are very negative when they burn people's houses and people lose their lives. But fire is a natural part of many ecosystems, and around the world there are many landscapes in which fire is an integral component. Vegetation needs the fire to regrow. Fire is useful to promote forage for livestock. Fire is useful for clearing agricultural waste after harvest. And so there are actually lots of ways that people use fire that can be done in managed, controlled ways, that it's not a danger to anybody. What we really want to try to do is to increase the number of safe, controlled fires and reduce the number of very intense, uncontrollable fires.
So maybe how are you planning to approach this self-control of fires?
So for a long time in many places we've tried to suppress fires. We've tried to put fires out when they start to stop them burning. And that's important sometimes to protect property, to protect lives, but it also allows vegetation to regrow without being burned, and so that when we do have a fire with lots of vegetation, it can become very difficult to control it. So maybe we need to be more proactive in how we use fire to manage vegetation. And this is one of the things that we're looking at in this workshop. But also we want to involve communities and indigenous peoples to bring in their knowledge and their understanding about how fire can be used as a useful tool, as a way of promoting good management of the landscape. So this is the start of a process to try to understand how we can change and adapt our fire management, not to just say, no, we don't want fire, but to think about what fire is good, what fire can we use, and what fire is bad, and we want to stop those fires.
Do you have other successful areas where this project is being used by other countries, maybe other nations?
So the Leverhulme Centre works all around the world, and there are some examples of where this sort of approach of integrated fire management is beginning to be used. A very good example of this is in Northern Australia. Now, we have not worked on that in this project, but we are interested in how ideas and examples like Northern Australia could be used in savanna areas in Africa. So in Northern Australia, they are reintegrating indigenous people's knowledges and practices of how fire is an important part of the landscape, ways of using fire, ways of living with fire, to manage vegetation so that we don't have very large, intense fires that we cannot control. Maybe we can learn from some of those practices and apply them in African savannas. Now, not everything will work. We can't just take an idea from one place and use it exactly the same in another place. We need to think carefully about what will work that's working in other places here and what we need to adapt and to modify.